Well, welcome to a new Harry's Garage video, and as you can tell, I'm back down painting classic cars, as it's now termed. Keith has been rather busy on this. The last time I was here, we walked around it and just saw the rust on it. Now he's started to dismantle it. The wings are off, interior's stripped, and I've come down today because the engine is going to come out today, and I've never seen a V12 being pulled out of an XJ Jaguar, so I'm really looking forward to that. So yeah, Keith, come show me around what you've been doing to this car.
We've been pulling it apart for you,
haven't you just?
Wings, bonnet, boot, as I said, all off. They're ready to go over to Joe tomorrow for the blasting.
So how's he going to blast it? I mean, is he sandblasting?
That how it's a soft media, so it'll be sodium, soda rather, or glass beads. Depends what's needed and how much paint's on there. But he's the man in the know, so we trust that to him.
Right. Well, it's mega to see it all stripped down and so quickly, really. Did you discover any nasties at the front here?
Nothing particularly. There is on the body cross member along the front here.
Yeah.
It's just under a hole through the bottom here, and on the wing mounting panel here as well.
Right.
Beyond that, at the minute, it's all looking really good. We have found a small area of corrosion at the bottom of that splash panel to do with.
Here. Right. Yeah.
Again, very minor. It really is a good body shop.
Right. Well, good. And the extractor, the engine is going to come out with the gearbox.
Yep.
It's about 2:30. How long am I going to be here to see that?
From this point now?
Yeah.
45 minutes.
45 minutes to extract.
45 minutes, yeah.
Yeah. I just can't get over the size of it. Anyway.
Wait till it comes out.
Unbelievable. What I'm going to do now is actually just grab the cameras. I'm intrigued to see what there is inside.
Yeah.
Oh my God, doesn't it look different?
Yeah, very different.
Yeah. Well, things as I'm just really chuffed to see that's solid. That actual where the door is hung looks pretty good to me.
Yeah, the A-post is all good down here. Top of the sill, it's got one.
Yes.
So that's all good. The only thing we have found, and it's had a previous repair before, is in here.
Yeah. Right.
The bottom of the inner wing, where the splash shield mounts, is corroded through.
Okay.
Someone has put a repair section in here before. Obviously, just gone over the top of the existing corrosion, and it's just carried on. So we can section that out and put a new piece in there.
God, they're just designed to go rusty, aren't they? Really. And inside, you found my mouse. There he is. Oh, thanks. I lost him. There he is. He's coming home. He doesn't look so well though, does he really?
Just resting.
Yeah, just resting. He was found under the seat. Yeah, there's a little nest he made. I can't get over he's there because I put so much poison and traps down. He's very adventurous, but he must have hitchhiked on the way down or something. I don't know.
Well, he's eaten it at some point.
Yeah, but I have floors in this car.
The floor pans and the inner sills are really good.
Yeah, this is original. This sill.
The car it's had some work. You can see that there has been a rear section of the floor pan put in. It's joined across here. But it's been done well. It's all attached firmly. There's nothing coming through.
Amazing, absolutely amazing. It's the same the other side.
Both
look at it here.
Both sides have been done really well.
Yeah, I mean sometimes they're completely rusted out floors, aren't they? I mean, there's some of the paint's off under the pedal box, but that's
compared to what we normally see, it's like new.
Right, it's the inner sill that gets me. Just that is the bit that I'm so chuffed to see actually.
Well, this one here would appear to be the original sill as well.
Good.
Nice clean factory spot welds all along there.
How's that happened?
The other side is good, but it's had a sill on it.
Right.
You can see where they've just tacked it along the top.
That's interesting.
But they've done a nice job of it.
Because the Lancia is actually worse on that side, and whether that's a left or right hand drive thing, I don't know. Or
well,
UK thing.
UK right hand drive car, the left hand side is in the roadway, in the gutter side. So
I don't know.
Normally expect that to be a bit worse.
Yeah. So that would make sense on that. I'm trying to think what else there is. There are all the panels. And did you discover their original wings, or you think they're
I think they're both replacement wings, but they both have had repair work done to them. This is the driver's wing, which we originally thought was a new panel.
Right.
Down the bottom there.
That bit
there has had a repair section let in. It's clearly not the original panel the car left the factory with, because you can see down here, for example, that's the outline of the replacement part sticker that we've been on there.
Right.
So it has been replaced at some point in the car's life. and then subsequently repaired.
I'm intrigued. I saw that vent when I was just looking at the headlights, and it has this thing here as a tube coming out. What's that all about?
Fresh air intake. So
No.
when the car is assembled, got
Yeah.
the headlamp in there,
Yeah.
and you notice there's a chrome grille mesh
Yeah, I did.
around there. Fresh air goes in through there.
Yeah.
Flexible hose comes all the way down across the top, and if you look on the A-pillar on the car, there's a reciprocal.
I saw there's a hole there.
That's it.
Well, that's your fresh air ventilation coming in. No. Oh, just into the footwell.
Yeah.
That's all it does. And how do you control that then?
Where it
That's
says
just...
here, is pull air. So if you pull out and open it, push it, close it.
Oh, I had no idea. Well, there you are. Live and learn. Okay. Right. Well, I think it's time to take the engine out, you know, and see what other, you know, nasties or nice surprises we've got when that great lump comes out. That's how many kilos is that little lot, do you think?
It was 680.
No, it's over half a ton.
Yep.
With gearbox.
With gearbox.
My goodness, that's a hell of a crane. Right. And you've done a little bit of prep here, haven't you, already? Quite a lot, I'd suggest.
We've done quite a bit just to make your time worthwhile.
Yeah, that's fine. So, but it is pretty complete. I mean, the alternator's still on, and belts and all that sort of thing.
They do come out pretty well as a built unit.
Right.
Just a little background, we've taken off the exhaust downpipes.
Right.
Prop shaft obviously disconnected, the gearbox mount disconnected. Beyond that, everything remains on the car as it comes out. So the inlets will stay on, alternator, starter motor, power steering, all of the ancillary equipment stays on, and it comes out in one big unit.
Get that poor old crane. You say it's 3/4 of a ton it can do, the crane.
The crane does 3/4 of a ton, and the engine is a fraction under that.
Ah, good.
Right, Brad, if I can have a hand just guiding it out.
Right, yeah. Right, you're going to be painting this car, aren't you?
Yes.
Hey,
Yes.
can't wait.
Neither can you.
No.
I'd quite like to know what colour you're going to paint it, but that's still being discussed, I'm afraid.
I'll leave it to you.
Yeah, it's just not squadron blue, that's all we know.
Oh, you're going to upset a lot of people.
Oh, I
now.
know. There's a lot of people, isn't there, want that. These mint greens. I like that one who's, I'm not sure if he suggested it on YouTube or on Piston Heads, that was the, you know, that Triumph Dolomite sort of purple, real 70s colour.
Oh, bit of purple velvet.
Purple, is that what it is?
I think it was a coloured colour actually, but yeah.
But it was on, TR6 and stuff, wasn't it, as well?
You did your side? So they are a real squeeze.
What, literally on the bulkhead there?
On the bulkhead, on the bell housing, on the front body cross member.
Do you know what? This is just too good. I'm gonna take the camera off here and just have a little look. I was saying it's quite oily, isn't it, the front here?
It is very common with the V12.
Yeah.
And just as you're in the area here, that's a rubber plug for the timing cover and the timing chain tensioner, which starts life as rubber.
Right.
After 40 odd years, it becomes a bit of wood.
Oh.
So they quite often leak from there.
And the tightness is on the front bulkhead then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I see, because there's more engine further back than I think there is, isn't there?
Are we tight on there?
Yep.
Tilt it back and lift the front again.
So the 6 cylinders just fine, just big hole in comparison.
In comparison, I mean, it's because of the way the back of the stump fits down below and behind the body cross member and the steering rack,
Yeah.
which is then pretty much in parallel with the bulkhead. Makes it all a bit of a squeeze.
So you're altering that to alter the angle of the engine on the crane. So it's going further back. There we are, I can see the gear connection there. Whoa!
Just like that.
Like that, there we are. It's released. It's free. So that, gear stick has disappeared. What was that caption on?
Well, what we do is when you take the gearbox mount down at the back,
Yeah.
you need the car up in the air to be able to release that. But when you release that, you've got nothing supporting the back of the engine here. So what we do is we lift the back of the gearbox up, and then we chock a piece of wood between the sump
Right.
and the body cross just to stop it tilting all the way down.
Yeah. God, you've got the sump right down. Quite a lot of sump to come out, isn't there? Oh, the old cooler stays on. You leave that on. You were saying that that's a bit ropey as well.
It's not the best of shape.
Come forward a little bit.
Come forward a bit.
I do like that bit of kit.
I remember doing it long before we had these, and it was stopping, adjusting the chain length, going again, adjusting the chain length.
Oh, really nice. That looks remarkably free.
Hang on, dude. Get that.
Clutch flex comes across here.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't get any prettier back there, does it really?
It really doesn't. It really doesn't.
Yeah. Well, we've got, I suppose, a shiny gearbox. I wonder if it's different with the manual and automatic gearbox. Is the auto a bigger gearbox, or?
It's a larger unit, and it's heavier. Yeah, you can see down there. It's empty the gearbox.
Oh, is it? Sorry about that. Yeah, gearbox oil. There it is. Yeah. The engines, well, gearboxes do that.
Clear?
Yep, just need to come up a little bit. Or tilt it.
I wonder if this is the first time this has been out. Because they would have put the gearbox in situ, they wouldn't have to take the engine out.
Take the engine out to do that, no.
No. And there it is. Oh dear. It's enormous.
Ease it down towards you.
Oh, quite dry on the side.
That's not too bad at all. You can see here the remains of the gearbox cooler pipes from when it was automatic. Which, with the engine in the car, sorry, it's nigh on impossible to take those out.
Yes.
So they've snipped them out of the way.
These all studs all came out, did they? Off the manifold?
Yeah, it took these back two out with them.
Right.
And this front one here, you can see some damage there where the brass nut was stripped. They came out fine. Quite oily here at the back of the V, and we can see here's the oil pressure sender and the cam feed as well. So the oil pressure comes from the back of the block, up this pipe, and then split here into each camshaft.
Oh yeah.
And you can see it's quite wet here. Bottom of the oil pressure sender there, that's leaking.
Right.
Which is all fairly common V12.
Right. It's all on the outside.
All common.
It's not. Well, it's not gallons of it coming out there, is it? It's just.
It's not. A little bit goes a long way.
Yeah. And then here.
Again, here you see the cam feed pipe. They're on copper washers either side of there, so it's not uncommon to see that just weep and leak out the back there. Generally, it's not in too bad.
No.
Not in too bad shape.
There's that spring on the back of the gearbox, isn't it? There.
Yep.
The funny thing.
Yeah, and you can see actually inside here, all the yellowy white rubber.
Yeah.
That's the isolator bush, which is broken up, not doing anything, so you're relying entirely on the spring.
That's why it's bouncing up and down. Is that brake fluid I'm looking at, sort of corrosion? Is that what?
Yep.
It's quite corrosive stuff, isn't it? It takes paint off and stuff.
It certainly is, and 40 odd years it's worked its way down, and obviously at some point in the car's recent past it's had a manual gearbox conversion, so you've got the clutch slave cylinder there, another source of brake fluid. So yeah, all of this is a result of leaking brake fluid. You can see on the top of the inner wing here just the starting of corrosion.
Oh dear.
But
other side, nothing. That's my header. That's my new header tank, which I put on because you can see the resultant loss of coolant fluid we had the other day. But apart from that,
just in here,
patch,
you can see it's had another patch.
Yeah.
Again, quite a common area here because on the other side of that you've got the front damper reinforcing panel. So you've got the inner wing and then you've got a reinforcing panel for the damper.
Right.
And it traps a bit of moisture in there, it's not unusual to see that code.
Anyway, right, well, it's quite a lot of work to do. It's coming together. I can't get over how quickly it's actually stripped down to something. Well, glass out I suppose is your next thing on that, but and lovely to see the engine, look at it. Looks much better this side because I've got a shiny new alternator. I put a new alternator on it, that looks pretty smart.
Different length, but thankfully all the same thread.
Right.
Quite often you find they're all imperial. Quite often you find someone's lost one and suddenly there's a metric bolt wound in there instead. Doing the lift, mate.
So, right, so you're taking the gearbox off and the idea here is just to see what's behind then. What?
With the gearbox off, we'll have the clutch plate and the flywheel which we can take off and then check the rear main oil seal, which is a common V12 weak spot.
I'm intrigued on the flywheel because this thing revs so well. It's like it has very little flywheel effect. But yeah, well, let's see if it's going to play ball. Right. Oh,
the fingers go.
It's good. No, it's working. It's working. Well done. Oh, that's got a lot of oil in there.
That's a giveaway there that we've got issues with the rear main.
Yeah, haven't we just? My goodness, that's a lot. Oh, flip. Right. So that means that obviously clutch and flywheel then has to come off, and we have to. Well, how do you do the rear main on a Jag V12?
Sump off.
Oh, is it? Ah.
Yep. Let's take it off and have a look. See what
Yeah. But that is about as wet and grubby as you can get, isn't it? In that barrel housing.
We've seen worse, but yes.
That's pretty bad. Oh.
There we go.
Oh, God.
It's not too bad.
No, it's not rivets arched yet. Oh dear. That's
got some score marks.
Yeah.
The same on the back of the flywheel here.
Yeah.
That'll just take a light skim.
Yeah, I hope so. That needs a new clutch plate though, doesn't it? Right.
Flywheel though, it's not scored.
We've got to take that off though, just check the seal, haven't we?
Yeah.
Do they just fall off flywheels on these?
Pretty much.
Yeah, I shouldn't say anything like that until it actually comes off. Yeah, carry on please. You don't need me adding silly questions. I suppose it hasn't been on that long, hasn't it? Because it was only converted. Was it 10, 12? No, when was it converted? Early noughties, I think it was.
So yeah, still plenty of time for it to get stuck.
Well, there is, isn't it? It's still 20 years, isn't it?
Let's see.
It was only the other day. No, that's moving. That's moving. Yeah, that's definitely got a wobble on. That's playing.
There it goes.
Let's have another look. Oh, nice and proper wet.
Yeah, all along the bottom here. It's
not
damp.
good. It is, isn't it? There's no other word for it. So, what's that mean then? To look at that seal, because that flange, it doesn't obviously go over the crank, so you have to get it from the other side then.
That will be a two-piece rope seal. So
right.
Once you've got down here, you've got the sump.
Yeah.
And then you've got what they call a sandwich plate between the sump and the bottom of the block.
Right.
And then here, you've got the rear part of the block. You've got a two-part rope seal. So these bolts here will come undone, and this will get drawn out with the crankshaft in place, which will reveal that half of your rope seal. Obviously, to get to the other side, it's crank.
No. So you have to take the crank. So then we're into. That's a bit of a bummer, isn't it? Actually. Yeah. So we're going deep to get that repaired. We're going deeper into this engine then. That's a bore.
Depends how far you want to go, because all this can be done by turning the engine upside down.
Yeah.
And we can work on just the bottom end. We don't have to take heads off, pistons out.
No.
We can do it all from underneath. Just focus on that, and then all of the ancillary oil seals around the outside of the engine.
Yes, this is a bit of a dilemma because I am conscious this car is actually due to be on show at an event in June, which was tight on the body anyway, and I don't want to get too deep into this engine, but I don't want to put an engine back with that amount of oil splurting out of its main oil seal. We're going to continue this conversation, I'm afraid. I think we're going to replace that. So you're going to spin the engine, you're going to take the sump off, and we'll take a main out, and then we'll judge the wear on the mains, I think, to how deep we go. And I might have to tell, well, we'll see at that point, just what it looks like. Yeah, does that sound fair?
That sounds like as good a plan as any.
Yeah, we're going to have to look at it, without a doubt. I can't. That is shocking. That is a real pain. Well, there you go. There's always surprises when you're doing these sort of engine or car rebuilds, and as you see there, that engine, that was a bit of a curveball. I suspected the seals might need doing. What I didn't expect was how deep into the engine you'd have to go to replace that oil seal at the back of the flywheel, but I can't put an engine back leaking that amount of oil, so it has to be done. This is part 2 of this video. There's part 3. I think I'll be coming back when the body is a bit more prepped, but I suppose that's what I take away from this meeting, is how good those floors were and the inner seals were and all that sort of thing on the car. So that's the bonus bit. The engine is the down bit. But I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have, well, keep watching, keep subscribing. More videos coming along very soon.